Alright, in this video we're going to be testing a VHF, UHF, roll-up, or J-pole antenna. Stick with me. Alright, if you hear it in the background, there's a little bit of chainsaw noise going on. Please excuse that. What we're going to be doing is we're going to take this VHF, UHF, roll-up, or J-pole antenna. I'm going to use the DM32, and we're going to test, does it make that much of a difference between something like that and the antenna I've been using, or is the distance that I gain or the clarity that I gain minuscule? I believe it's going to do really well. This antenna is more resonant on the 2 meter band, or supposed to be, but it will work on the 70 centimeter band as well. It's got 10 foot of coax on it. At some point I may add some coax just to get us some extra height toward the end. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to be testing this. I'm going to start off here at my house, and then over the next few days, few weeks maybe even, I'm going to progressively go further and further away from home and test this, and then we're going to see what happens. I'll test it on mountains, I'll test it down in deep valleys, and I'm going to push it until I cannot get a signal at multiple locations anymore on the roll-up. If I stop getting signal on this, when and if I stop getting a signal on this, I am going to keep on pushing out as long as I get signal on the roll-up. If the roll-up stops first, I will let you know. We're going to take it that, and we're going to set up here at home, and for this test I'm going to continue to use the same 2 repeaters. So there's 2 repeaters, a 2 meter and a 70 centimeter. I'm going to make sure I can hit them first here, make sure I can hit them with a roll-up, and then after that we'll start moving locations and we'll find out how this thing does. Alright, I had to move to the front yard. Like I said, please ignore the noise. I've picked 2 repeaters that are on the same mountain, but one's a 2 meter and one's a 70 centimeter, and for the purpose of this test I'm going to try to use those 2 repeaters for the whole test. That way we can get an accurate depiction of how this performs. Now I'm gonna, I may do it from southwest, north of here, just all around in different distances and different conditions, and we're gonna see what happens. All right, so I'm on repeater book here, the app on my phone, and it says that repeater, both the 2 meter repeater and the 70 centimeter repeater, which is probably on the same tower, just different antennas, is 7.4 miles from my location right now. So this is going to be the initial close proximity test. I may do some others that are closer but worse terrain, but most of it will be further away in different directions. All right, so let's test the first 2 meter. Make sure I'm on 2 meters here. Yep. All right, here we go. KR4 HMR test. So I hit that repeater. So let's bump down to the second repeater. This is the 70 centimeter repeater. KR4 HMR testing. So I hit that repeater. All right, so we know it works. I'm using my little fold-up antenna here. Now let's get the roll-up antenna up, and I'll try to do a radio check even if nobody calls back, and just see how that works, and then we'll proceed with the test. All right guys, let's go ahead and test out this roll-up antenna. Now I've only got it up about 10 feet, but we already know the other one works. So let's see, make sure this one works at this distance, at this height. I'll definitely want to get it up higher when I start pushing the distance, I think. Let's just give it a go. Make sure I'm still on the right one. All right. Jump it back to 2 meter first. KR4 HMR radio check. I hit the repeater. Let's give it a second and see if anyone comes back. All right, no one responded to the 2 meter radio check. I gave it a few minutes. So let's jump down here to 70 centimeter band and see.
WX4PG repeater.
Yep, it just announced itself. All right, let's try it anyway. KR4 HMR radio check. Hit it for sure. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna give it a few minutes, see if I hit. All right, nothing came back on the radio check on that one. I've given it a few minutes, but you see the concept. You see that I can hit it 7.4 miles away. I mean, I hit it with that one, I hit it with this one. So now I'm gonna start pushing that distance. Now these repeaters, they'll handle a pretty good bit of distance, but I'll start incrementally, and I'll also show you guys the setup, a little bit better setup when I can get it up a little higher. Right here in my yard, this one limb's about as high as I'm gonna get it without a real big pain in the butt. So let's get out in the woods and we'll keep testing. All right, guys, so I'm out here testing this morning. You know, you saw it work at the house. We're gonna start off with this, the regular antenna, same 2 repeaters. Repeater book says I'm 12.8 miles right now from the 2 meter and 70 centimeter repeater. So we're gonna start with this, then we'll go to the roll-up. So here we go. Make sure I'm on, we'll start with 2 meter. KR4 HMR test. He didn't hit it. 12.8 miles. It didn't hit. So let's jump down to the 70 centimeter. KR4 HMR. Okay, I did hit the 70 centimeter repeater with the fold-up antenna. All right, 12.8 miles. So let's turn this off. All right, I'm hooked back up to the roll-up antenna. I'm on the 2 meter band. Let's see how it goes. KR4 HMR. Kind of spotty. I messed up my call sign, but I hit. All right, but it did hit. You saw it didn't work with that one, and it is working with this one. Now, I'd hate to have to communicate with it that spotty, but it's working. And I'm only about, I'll show you guys in a minute, I'm probably, I don't know, 12, 13 feet up. I can't even be that far because this is a 10-foot coaxial, and that antenna is about 4 feet long-ish. I'd have to measure it. I haven't measured it. So I may be somewhere in that range, somewhere between 10 and 15 feet total. All right, let's get down to the 70 centimeter. I didn't key that up. It was already, it did it as soon as I hit it. Somebody may be on it. KR4 HMR test. Sounded a lot better. 70 centimeter. Conditions, as you can probably see behind me, it's a little cloudy. It was really foggy this morning earlier, and I mean, it's kind of a drizzly day. It's not raining at the moment, but it's kind of crappy weather. So there you have it. So let me show you the setup real fast. Okay, there's the radio sitting on the ground. And then you can see I have the antenna, the coax, and that's the antenna up there. So what I've done is I've got a piece of paracord over, I threw a piece of paracord over a limb tied to a stick. I've got to get myself a throw ball, and maybe some cordage management, and just pulled it up, you know, just girth hitched it to that hook up there on the antenna, and then just ran it down to the ground. I do have the option to add longer coaxial to get it higher, and I do intend to do that, but I'm not going to do it until I get a better way of throwing that line over. All right, guys, there you have it for that one. So let's move on to the next one. That was 12.8 miles, 70 centimeter hit on both, 2 meter only hit on the roll up. Let's keep testing. Oh, and by the way, the terrain between here and there, just rolling hills, nothing major. That should be a higher mountain than anything between me and it. So we'll see as I'm in different elevations, different terrains as time goes on. All right, so this time I've moved a lot further away. I'm at 22 miles, according to the repeater book, from the repeaters. There's a big jump from 12.8, but I've gained about 1,000 feet in elevation. You're gonna see how that affects it, and we'll run through both antennas and see what happens. This time I may reach out for a radio check just to see. KR4 HMR. That's 2 meter. That's the one I couldn't hit at with this antenna at the 12.8 mark. Now let's try 70 centimeter. KR4 HMR testing. There it is. I hit them on both. So that's better. This 1,000 feet in elevation. There's some small hills between here and there, but not much. So that really made a big difference. Now let's take this off. I'll connect that back up, and I'll be right back with you. All right, I got the roll-up antenna up. Let's give it a shot. This time I'm gonna call for a radio check on both channels, just see what happens. KR4 HMR radio check. He's on the 2 meter.
This is WR4XM.
WRX4XM. Thank you for the radio check, 73. You're 5'9" at my location. I get better at radio talk. Y'all heard that. Y'all heard that. So you didn't see anything else. Let's bump on down. 70 centimeters. KR4 HMR radio check.
WR4XM.
WR4XM, you're coming a little more broken than you were on 2 meter, but you're still sounding good. 73.
Roger, roger. WR4XM.
Thank you for the radio check. I'm just testing out a roll-up antenna, seeing how much distance it would give me. You guys seen it? That guy answered me back. That was not planned. Don't know who he is. I'm gonna log in my software just to find out. That's it. Let's move on to the next test. All right, it's another morning, another radio test. So this time I'm 26 miles from those repeaters. Please excuse the noise. I'm at a park today, and so there's a little bit of traffic. But I'm 26 miles away. Now I'm about the same elevation as I was before, about 1,000 miles high, or 1,000 miles, 1,000 meters, or 1,000 feet, I'm sorry, 1,000 feet higher in elevation than my house. About the same as I was at the last test. But with this one, there's actually some mountaintops or some ridge tops that are higher than I am, that are in between me and the repeater. So we're gonna do the same thing as before. We're gonna go through this fast, 2 meter, then 70 centimeter, regular antenna, and then this one. Here we go. KR4 HMR test. That was 2 meter, and I didn't hit. I did not hit on 2 meter. Let's go one more time. KR4 HMR test. Buckets. Let's bounce it to the 2 minute or 70 centimeter. KR4 HMR test. It's 26 miles. It ain't working. KR4 HMR test. Alright, let's switch to the other antenna. Alright, 2 meter again. KR4 HMR test.
Repeater.
Okay, it hit it. Just barely. Just barely. Let's try 70 centimeter real fast. KR4 HMR test. Nothing. Nothing. Alright, so you see that. Before I go, I'm going to try to pull this up. This one's a little higher than the other ones. I've got a couple more feet I might be able to get up, and I'll have to stand. So I'll have to adjust the camera, but I'm going to try that 2 meter repeater again and see. Right now I'm at the standard 10 to 15 feet up. Pull it up another couple feet and see how that works. Give me just a second. Alright, one more test real fast. Let's go try this 2 meter repeater again. KR4 HMR test. It hit, and I'm down lower than the ridge tops around me, even though I'm at a higher elevation. So that tells you right there that if you could get it on up higher, if you had more coax, it would hit. I wonder about the 70 centimeter. Let's try it. KR4 HMR test. Still nothing. Let's keep testing. All right, guys. I'm about 27 miles, a little more than 27 miles away from the repeater. It's a nice cold day in the afternoon. There's definitely some hills and mountains behind me that are higher than the repeater. I'm also at a higher elevation. So let's give it a test. Start with 2 meter, go to 70 centimeter, and then you know how this goes already. KR4 HMR test. Nothing. Drop down to 70 centimeter. KR4 HMR test. Nothing. Nothing. Alright, let me get the roll-up antenna up, and I'll be right back with you. I got the roll-up antenna up, a little bit different angle here. Let's start with 2 meter. KR4 HMR test. 2 meter didn't hit that time. Let's switch it over. KR4 HMR test. That was 70 centimeter. And it did not hit. So a little bit of terrain difference. And I'm up about the height I've been being. A little bit of terrain difference, and it will not get through. I'd have to be in some pretty flat terrain. I think I could push it further, but I'd have to get into some very, very flat terrain to push it any further. But I have pushed GMRS further than that, even with just a rubber ducky. Like I said, I'm up pretty good, and nothing. Try Again on 2 meter. KR4 HMR test. I am not hitting the repeaters, guys, at all. Alright guys, well there you have it. 26.2. I was able to get through on the roll up. A little over 27, a little bit more terrain, and neither one would go through. So how much more range will it give you? Well, I would say there's been a couple times now where it has gotten through. So I would say in mountainous terrain, a few more miles, but nothing's really going to overcome this terrain like that unless, except for height. Now, if I had some extra coax and I got it up 35 feet, it might. Maybe I'll try that at some point. Just stay in one spot where I know it's not going to work and start pushing higher and higher and seeing if it gets in. But for now, that's all. If you stuck with me this far, thank you. I'm considering doing some simplex testing as well, but that'll be a future video. If you guys would like to see me do a video like that, hit me up in the comments. If you see something I'm doing wrong, I'm still pretty new to this, hit me up in the comments. If you like what I'm doing, hit me up in the comments. Thanks guys.